That smell good, Miss Kitty.
Hello, Internet. Welcome back to another
Oh well.
video. Some months ago, I became the owner of a 2015 Scion TC, and it's manual, baby. I was actually trying to save money for something that's like 80s, boxy, rear-wheel drive, but something happened to my other car. I actually had to learn manual when I bought it, like right off the lot. I stalled absolutely everywhere, in the middle of the highway, in the middle of the street. Yeah, it's been a while now, and well, I just realized it's kind of boring. It's a little too quiet. It sounds good, but it's quiet. If you're wondering what the big chamber that's connected to the muffler end is, I'm pretty sure that's just a Helmholtz resonator. Basically, it's meant to kind of like contain a lot of the vibrations that cause drone. Drone is basically the thing that gives you a headache after a while. Overall, this exhaust is pretty nice. It was not the most expensive one by far, and it also was not the cheapest. However, I do think if you're more budget minded, this is probably the biggest bang for your buck. I'm no like welding expert or anything. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people love to talk shit anytime welding is involved. I have seen way worse welds. For the amount that I spent, which was about 400 bucks flat, I could have also just ended up with a simple axle back from Megan Racing, I think. There's also Borla, which is pretty expensive, but at the end of the day, most of this stuff is just pipes, I'm not trying to be too loud. I don't want to have to go get the car tuned just because of my exhaust either. So fortunately, this J2 exhaust comes with its own set of gaskets, as well as the necessary nuts and bolts. I don't really have anything bad to say about them. They all look to be of decent quality. However, there is one pretty considerable issue that I ran into with the front portion. The holes on the flange are actually too small for the shouldered bolts that are originally there. I tried grinding the shoulders down a bit, and that actually did work.
So, did a little magic trick, if it'll focus. So, yeah, so basically I tried to, god damn. Yeah, but I tried to like shave this down a little bit. I'm about to go back underneath and see if this fits. I actually took off a pretty good amount of material. Yeah, the way I did it was really jank. I basically just took a mandrel drill, took a rasp or a file, and just held it on there for a minute. But yeah, hopefully this shit fits, because I don't feel like getting back under here again.
But the springs were just way too strong. It was very difficult to reattach.
Oh well.
There are a few ways I can think of to kind of like get around this. I think what I ended up buying is a 1.25 by 50 bolt, and then a respective washer. Well, actually I bought two of each.
No f***ing littering. Bit.
So aside from one particular area, the rest of the assembly was relatively easy. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt to deal with the like the rubber hangers.
Hi. Does this look comfortable to you? Oh wait. Gonna go right there. And then not gonna go right there. So y'all. Alright, so the bolts are not in, but the hangers are on, and yeah, it's going pretty well. Also, we have this one over here, like last time. So look, these are not flanged. So, oh god, it's almost in. Oh, just the tip. Come on. There we go. So one thing I did notice is they have this heat shield here. Apparently this was an issue for some people.
But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. One thing I wish I would have done before putting in the new exhaust is remove the heat shield. I did later on end up going back underneath and removing the rear heat shield, but I would just recommend removing both heat shields because odds are they will make contact and they will rattle and you will be annoyed by it and you'll just wish you would have removed it in the first place.
Oh, this little brace here, it's keeping me from pulling out this mid section and the rest of that. So we're just gonna drop this thing and then I'm gonna have to go to the back end. Here's my fuel lines, I think. I don't know shit about cars.
So here I was having a little bit of trouble. The way that these hangers are angled doesn't really sit right with me. So I was just kind of trying to figure out how this was supposed to go on. I decided to go to sleep since I was pretty exhausted and, just thought it'd be a smarter idea to come back fresh. Right here, I'm basically just wiping down the entirety of my exhaust system so that the fingerprints and gunk and whatnot doesn't burn onto the surface. I'm just using a damp rag. This little bracket thing was also kind of tricky. I'm pretty sure I've seen other people put it underneath where that little arm on the subframe is, but I just decided to take out the bolt and then put it back in, but with the exhaust bracket sitting right below it. And that worked well enough for me. So before I get into the audio, I do want to say that this is definitely not going to be the loudest exhaust. If you're someone who's trying to be a hot boy and you want everyone in a 5-mile radius to know that you have a fancy pants exhaust, this is probably not the one for you. This J2 exhaust has a very deep tone, which is why I bought this one as opposed to the others. I think that if you want something that's really loud, you might look into Megan Racing or Borla. Or what some people have done is used a combination of different mid pipes and axle backs. Overall, I'm incredibly happy with the sound. I think it's perfect. The only thing that could potentially make it better is an exhaust header, which are not hard to find, but they are kind of expensive. Also, they don't come with a catalytic converter, so I'd have to get it tuned. Other than that, the only real issue I have is that the tip is kind of off kilter, which has melted my bumper a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. At some point, I guess I'm just gonna have to have the tip cut off and then rotated and then welded back on. Apparently this is something that other people have done as well. despite my own struggles with this exhaust, I do still highly recommend it. You're just not going to find anything as good that will be like really any cheaper than this particular one. Everything else will be around the same price, if not more expensive. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide, whether it's worth it or not, or whether or not you want to deal with the issues that I dealt with and some other people dealt with. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Enjoy the audio. Bye.